What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing today? This your boy Abdel back on a GCO, and today we definitely wanted to come here and talk about what's really going on in the gaming industry and how people's tastes for games are kind of changing lately. I don't know if you've realized it, but let's talk about a couple things and see what's happening. Let's kick it. So one of the reasons why this actually came up to me recently is I was sitting here and actually playing Fortnite with a couple buddies, and then a lot of people are asking me to play PUBG. Well, what I started to notice was these battle royales are the most popular games in the world going on right now, and I was wondering what kind of trend this would actually take going forward with the industry. One of the things that I noticed was when PUBG was created and it came out and it was successful, to me, I really felt bad for the company because it almost seemed as if it was destined to fail. And I'll tell you exactly why. PUBG is made by a smaller developer who is not as big as a giant as, let's say, Epic Games with their own game engine and Unreal Engine. So, of course, Epic Games noticed the game was very popular, started having up to 5 million players, so they're like, hey, why don't we release a free version of the Battle Royale created in our own game engine and then see what happens? Well, what ended up happening was Fortnite crushed PUBG in every way possible. Fortnite has already surpassed 40 million players, and at this point, it's only going to keep growing. Sure, they have server issues every now and then where, they have to come back, fix the server, do this, do that, whatever. But the players are coming back. They have the formula, they have the bigger team, and people mention to me that lawsuits might happen for certain things being copied. To me, all of that doesn't matter because they can always change it up in any way. They already have the fan base. So there's going to be a couple games that I'm definitely going to bring up here that'll kind of relate to this a little bit. So let's see what other games are actually doing this. Now, one of the games that actually got to me the most, and I was actually a really big fan of the game made by Hi-Rez Studios, is Paladins. Now, Paladins, of course, came from Hands of God. It was really more of an upgrade for it, and they kind of came out with their free version and everything, so people really enjoyed playing it. Now, Paladins has kind of been overwatched with Overwatch, of course. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this if you're watching this especially. Overwatch is a much more complete game, and Paladins really is still looking for its own identity. Now, they do have their own unique aspects, but one of the main reasons why I really truly wanted to make this video today is to kind of sit here and talk about how a lot of these companies are really making downright terrible games that are really more like money grabs instead of actually trying to appease to an audience or anything like that. And one of the biggest companies we can use as an example right now would be EA. I mean, they're in the hot seat right now. I mean, if Battlefield 5 fails, I'm not really sure what the company's going to do. If games like Anthem fails, once again, I just don't know really what's going to happen with the company, with their investors, and all of that, since they have to pay so much attention. Battlefield 1 was downright terrible. We literally had less than 10 guns. Everything was just renamed, maybe with a scope. One was single shot, one was semi, but that was it. That was Battlefield 1, and then it was in a World War I setting where people just kind of got over it. And what I'm actually starting to notice is people actually go backwards to Battlefield 4 and actually keep playing it. Then you see all these Battlefield 4 videos show up on YouTube. Like, is Battlefield 4 still good in 2018? Simple answer is yes. Everybody goes back to Battlefield 4 for that very reason. But EA, I mean, if, Battlefield 5 is going to be a World War II type of game, I really hope they have something really lined up where they're not going to be losing any fans or anything like that, and people won't be forced to actually go backwards to play Battlefield 4 instead of actually focusing on what the new game is. And I really hope it has more meat on its bones this time instead of what, Star Wars Battlefront 2 did, where it was really more of the loot crates that you had to buy. Of course, you didn't know what was in them. Some states had to actually go out and say this was gambling and is illegal. Is that going to stop EA from what they're doing? Absolutely not. Is that going to stop any company from what they're doing? Absolutely not. I mean, there are people out there willing to spend $30 for skins, and these companies know that. So they're out to grab that money in any way that they can. So definitely keep that in mind next time you fire up your game and you think about buying a skin or anything like that to help enjoy the game, I guess. Okay. I guess the main point of this is, you know, as gamers, we've kind of led the industry into a certain direction that was all about money instead of making great games. And what I mean by that is this. A lot of companies have gotten to a point where they want to release games annually. They always want to focus on what is the next game that people want to play? What is the next game that people want to play? When we think back to Destiny 2 as that was being launched, and I'll make another video about that and how it failed so terribly. But when Destiny 2 was coming out, you had the developers coming out and saying, this is not a game we expect you to play for the next year at all. This is a game we expect you to play because it's the new thing. And, you know, when we release updates later on or DLCs or anything like that, you can actually run back and enjoy the game again. And that's because nowadays it almost seems like every company wants to be in a certain time slot, you know? I remember when The Division came out, it was the biggest game in the world at that time. And then a couple months later, it was something else. A couple months later, it was Ghost Recon Wildlands. And then that had its time. Once again, they ruined the online on that portion, but that's for another time. My point is, we've gotten so accustomed to asking for games every year, and these companies simply cannot develop great games every year. I mean, we look at games like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Witcher, just to name a few. These games cannot be created annually. It's just impossible. So I guess what we actually need to do is kind of give these guys time to truly develop the experience that they want to put out there instead of it being a money grab. Oh, here's, you know, the first half of the game we got completed. The next, you know, half of the game will be all on DLC, will come out over the next 2 years so you have other games to play and we see what direction the market is going to decide if we're going to make this or not. Oh, by the way, buy our season pass so we know how many people even care about this game long enough for us to really work on those projects, or should we just cancel this project and work on another one? That's pretty much what a season pass means. So I guess what I really want to ask for all the viewers and, you know, everyone out there in the world, what do you think about the gaming industry currently? Are you wanting better games? Are you guys even okay with the loot crate systems that's coming out nowadays? That's really more of a money grab than anything. Definitely let me know in the comments below. I really want to know your guys' opinions. Another video we'll probably talk about here later on is really more of the graphics cards craze that is going on, where prices are going back down and new graphics cards are not coming out as often as we all once thought. But once again, that's for another time. So guys, definitely like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching today. Peace out, y'all.